It's good to see you, Josh.
So, you're Maxime. We know each other briefly. So, we met in Odessa when you picked me up from the train station and you dropped me off to the border. Um, and I spent a little bit of time in your house, and you were kind enough to feed me some breakfast. But I actually met your wife and your child who went to Moldova. So I don't know if you want to explain a little bit about the time where your son was born to then the war starting to then your wife and child being in Moldova. I don't know if you want to just explain that a little bit.
Yeah, sure, sure. So, background. So we've been married about a year with my sweet wife Nastya, and we. Um, I'm from Zaporizhia. She's from Crimea, and we've been visiting Kiev, our friends and family, and unexpectedly, Nastya decided to give birth in Kiev. So I guess Stefan decided, and so what she did, she gave birth in Kiev, and Stefan was born, our first son, and they were in the hospital for 2 days when war started, and I took them out there. And actually, my friend called me like 5 in the morning, telling that war started. He was from America, so he didn't sleep. So and news, I guess, worked fast, and he called me at 5 in the morning, woke me up, and say like, "Hey, there's war, Russia and Ukraine. Are you okay?" And so I find out that there's war from him. At that time, I didn't hear bombs, anything like that, but later I did, and I took out my wife with kid, and probably overnight we waited because like there was so much going on, and everyone tried to escape from Kiev, and there was like impossible to get out from city. So we slept in a shelter, like bomb shelter, with kid, and next day we had a car, so we drove out from city, and our friends invited us to Odessa, so we stayed at home in Pervomaisk, where we lived, where I worked on ninth floor. Like in every like hour, we need to go out when sirens, and we hide it in the bomb shelters. So we got tired a little bit of that in a few days, living on ninth floor, scaring. It was scary, but yeah. So we moved to Odessa, where our friends lived and invited us. So we lived in Odessa, where we met you and fed you breakfast there.
So how long was it until your wife she went to Moldova pretty soon, right?
Yeah, so we didn't wait for too long. So probably like week or so, and they moved to Moldova.
Yeah.
So baby was really young.
So what was the decision you and your wife made to for her to go back into Ukraine, back to Odessa? Why not
So we,
stay in Moldova where it's more safe?
yeah, you're right. We like logically there was no sense for her to go back. Like there was war going on. It was beginning of the war. Odessa been bombed. All country been bombed. We didn't know what to expect. But Odessa was not very safe place at first place. Like
Hmm.
there was no reason to go to Odessa because Odessa was one of the cities that Russia want to take, and it's what we knew. But we believe in God and we prayed and we felt that we need to go there. So we did. Even logically, there was no sense, but we did. We trusted and we did. And same thing with Odessa and Moldova. So we felt like it would be better for Nastya and for Kid and for me to get back to Odessa in Ukraine than stay in Moldova. Um, Logically, there was no sense. We just felt like it's right thing to do to be together, and we felt that Lord will protect us. And so he did, and we felt pretty safe in Odessa, and we did a lot of volunteer work there. We started projects and fed and helped refugees there together. So, so yeah, it's why she came back.
Yeah. So when I met you, I believe was the July 2022.
Yeah,
And then, so obviously we became friends on Facebook. And then one day I remember waking up and you would put a post about you joining the front line. Um, what kind of made you decide this is something you wanted to do or needed to do? And what was the process? So obviously in Ukraine, it's fairly easy to sign up for the military right now. But what did you have to do? What was it like? Can you kind of explain a little bit about that?
yeah, for sure. So long time ago, when I was at school, I dreamed about military. So I wanted, I know, go to a military, but we didn't have really good military, so I didn't go. Um, that time. But later, when war started, first of all, I took care of my family that they would be in safety. And after, when we helped other people to get help, so our good friends from all around the world was raising funds, and we were able to help over 2,000 families down there in Odessa, like 2,000 families, refugee families. So, and we did that a lot. Most of our time took to help those people. But later we felt we need to move to Kiev. So there was pretty safe that time already. And we felt like we need to go there. So we did. We moved to Kiev, and I remember why I decided to go to serve. Like I had already bad eyesight, and I had young kids and family, so I need to take care of them. But that time, um, Russia started this big gathering of army there. So they gather like in news they were telling like million soldiers or something. So in that time, I was working, doing few jobs and business, and I remember I was talking to military guy, and I got inspiration that I need to go and help our soldiers, to help our army. So this is my time. So it was clear inspiration that I need to go, and I prayed about to make sure that I understand it correctly, and I felt, and Nastya felt same way, that I need to go and do and help there. And it's what I did. I researched a little bit and asked friends, and I did and sign up. And like in a week, I already been in military on the military training.
So from the moment you signed the papers to join the military to then being in the uniform, how was the feeling? Was it scary? Was there like a sense of duty? Like how
Um,
did you really feel?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't remember it's been scary. Um, More excited, I felt that I'm doing the right thing. It's, you know, for some people, it's dangerous and you can die, and people worry about their health and their families. And it's scary, like many people die and many people lost their health. So what I did eventually, but I didn't feel scary. I just felt that it's right thing to do. It's war with evil, and we. I felt like good side need help, and I felt like I am as a believer need to fight for good side and need to strengthen um, this battle with that pure evil. And when I joined army, I saw with my eyes. So I didn't just hear about in news or reading books and history, but I saw with my eyes what this evil do, and it's just pure evil. And I sign up, and then they call me to go, that it's time to go. So it's been a little bit scary. I didn't know what I expect, and it was a little bit scary. And later, it's been scary. Um, but I felt at the same time that I'm doing the right thing, and it's what I need to do, and it's what the Lord wants me to do, and it's strengthened me. And I never been like afraid. It's been scary, but I never, lost my mind. And, it's never been like I'm lonely. I always felt that I'm doing the right thing, and it strengthened me a lot.
So, what was your role then? So, you and a bunch of other guys, they put you in a like a squad. Uh, what was your role? What did they make you do? Was it just purely fighting? Was it anything else you needed to do? Like,
So first, we did training. I had training in Ukraine. Some guys did go to Britain or Baltics. So different places train our soldiers, new soldiers. So I am as a new soldier. I had basic training, 3-4 weeks. It was pretty good training. We learned how to shoot, and we learned tools and weapons and like basic military things, how to fight, how to lead, how to work together, how to not shoot your friends, and the important part that we didn't learn very well. But yeah, so we learned basic things. I wanted to do medic, like I wanted to be paramedic, like military medic.
yeah.
Is it? I'm not sure if it's right. Like to to work with medicine and help guys who get hurt. So I felt like we had inspiration before I did go. My wife had inspiration that I will return and I will be alive. So I kind of felt extra protection. So I was sure that I will return alive uh, because of that assurance. And uh, I wanted to help guys who get hurt. I was not afraid to go under bombs and bullets, so it's what I wanted to do. Uh, I didn't have much time to accomplish that desire and that goal. So after training, I was in special forces. So it's guys, it's military, not just military. There's different units, different responsibilities. Someone is on tanks, someone on vehicles. We were special forces. I was in military, which does special forces. So we go first to free land, to attack, So I was in that army probably because I was fast and young, and they put me there. So we did go after training. We did go straight to front lines. Um, I've been like week or two, um, like on the third line. We get weapons and learn a little bit a few things, and we've been sent to front line to battlefield basically. It was on east, right? Yeah, it's Lugansk region, Donetsk, Lugansk region, and we've been sent there. It was interesting way. So we did go like step by step to get to the front line. So we've been out of front line like 40 kilometers. I don't know what miles is that, like 20 miles.
Probably a bit more, like 30 something miles.
Yeah, so and get to the front line, it takes time and guts, you know. So you drive there and all way through, like someone like enemy try to kill you. And we did drive at night, and they took like 6 guys with one vehicle. We get to the like 10 kilometers, stay there at night. Next night we did go a little bit further on different vehicle, more armed, and it took like a week just got to the front line. So we slept like in a destroyed villages underground. It was interesting experience. So yeah, and eventually we did go to the front lines there.
Tell me,
When we got there, it was interesting.
what was the morale
Yeah.
like? What was the attitude of some of the soldiers? Was everyone positive? Was everyone kind of annoyed with like how were people feeling? Was it a time where people were
So yeah, it was interesting. Like young guys like me, and there was a lot of really young guys, like 20 years old, and really young dudes. They just finished school or college or whatever. And they were super excited, energetic, and they wanted to be there. Same with me. We knew that we need to be there. Older guys, especially if they already been in our army or already participated in a war, there was quite a few of those, but we met them at our like location where our military unit stayed, so it's out of the front lines. So they were not very positive. So we stayed with them like for a week, and there was guys who like served for a year, 2 years, 3 years. So like we have war for 9 years. So there's experienced guys who did participate in the previous war. And when they got here and these positions where we were fighting at that time, so they were not happy to be there. So apparently there was really difficult positions, and I find out that later the guys who came there on those positions, there were nobody who been there longer than a month. So like guys just like me came there, and maximum that I knew there stay there for a month, and later they die or they got hurt and
yeah.
go to hospital. So unfortunately there was really some of positions are really difficult where we'll lose a lot of guys. And so older guys who served in military like 3 years, and so they didn't want to be there. They were not happy to
Yeah.
stay in those positions. They said that like this is the worst what they saw. Young guys didn't know what to expect, so they just did go and been excited. And I try to have good attitude, to remember why I'm there, and no matter what, Lord is with me, and try to do our best and be helpful there. And bring victory closer a little bit, probably.
So you
Was my hope.
said usually people on the front line in the area that you were at don't last longer than a month. How long was it until you were, because you were hit by a bomb,
Yeah.
so you were hit by a Russian bomb. How long was it till you arrived on that area until you got hit that you were forced to leave and go to hospital?
Yeah. Mm, so it was about 11 days. Like it was longer, but when I don't count days when we've been in a bomb shelter underground. So how it looks, so we have front lines, uh, where our position, there's gray zone, gray area. It's no theirs, it's no ours. It's just where we fight, and they stay. So, and on the line where we stay, so it was village destroyed, completely destroyed village. Like all houses been turned down, and there was like a big storage building where we stay, where our commander stayed like underground. It was like small place, like I don't know, meter and a half. Like it's not tall, so you need like lean there to go inside and stay there. So we did stay there, waiting for to replace guys who was on in a fight. Um, but yeah, we stayed there with dogs. So there's a bunch of dogs there too. So they're afraid, so they're hiding there with us of bombs. So we've been there for a while, and after we've been replaced. So we changed guys who stayed there. We changed them, and it's difficult to put in words. It's been scary. Right now, I'm thinking about. It was night. We have a bunch of stuff on us: weapons, grenades, foods, and all these things. Huge bags on us, and it was night. It was freezing cold, and it was ice. I remember it was ice on the ground, slippery, and two guys who were leading us out of that shelter to our positions. There was two big adult men, but they were scared to death. They were running, and they were like, in their eyes they were scared, and I'm like, what are you scared about? It was feeling like we would just step outside and we would get shot. It was feeling like that, and those guys were scared. So this two big dudes, they led us out of that shelter, probably like half of kilometer to the checkpoint, and there, from that point, we did go by ourselves. So we have one guy who already knew where we need to be, but all of us been fresh new. Like we didn't have like good experienced soldiers. Like I said, like nobody was there for a month. So there was one guy who already did go there once, so he knew the way, and it was night, dark night, and we were walking through these broken buildings. We were running through these broken buildings, like holes in the ground. Try to remember, and after we turned from the road and we did walk like through the mud, it was like huge holes in the ground, and feeling like we're about to get shot, like someone was watching us, like feeling like that. And this guy who led us was scared. Dark night, like you can't see nothing. Like we like walked touching the ground, try to understand where we need to go. and we came to this holes, where I don't know, like окопы, how you call them. So it's holes like in the ground that protect you from bullets and bombs.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's what soldiers dig. I don't know how you call that.
Like a trench.
Trench, I guess. So yeah, so we came there, jumped in those trench, and like it was pitch black. Like I could see nothing. Like I just heard voices of our boys there that we came to replace them. They were very happy that we came. So I just heard them. I didn't understand anything what's going on. I just stick there in that hall. And so we replaced them. We changed them, so they did go back to that shelter, and we stood there. In the morning, I understood like where I'd been at night and what was going on there. So you can turn on the lights, so even in that hall. So in the morning, I understood like where we've been and what was going on. Try to understand. And I've been there for like about 11 days, 10 and a half, 10 and a half days probably before I got hit. So it was interesting 10 days. I didn't expect that I will be there for 10 days. We expected like 3, 5 days and we need to be changed, but we didn't have enough people to be changed. So we stayed there for 10 days and we would stay more. And yeah, a lot of interesting happened to us those days. So yeah.
Do you remember the specific moment that the bomb hit?
Yeah, I do remember. I'm thinking right now that I could be being shot multiple times before that, when like every day, like twice a day, we need to go out back to shelter to take water, food, supplies, and change batteries for our how you call it, walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Uh, Funny name, walkie-talkie. But yeah, we need batteries for those things, and night vision, we need batteries. So every morning and every night we would go. And there's multiple times that sniper was working on us, and on me it was once or twice, on other guys was more. So you just walk and this guy is just shooting you, and you can see bullets like hitting the ground. And yeah, one guy almost died, just he was so scared. He was like all white of, it was just so scary for him. And one time we did go on this trip, so we would take turns. It was 4 of us in that position, and I remember we would take turns, and I would go with this guy. His nickname in military is Mickey Mouse. So Mickey Mouse, and we did go together. And he knew that I was like believer. I prayed and I would talk about faith, and he like, let's go together. He like asked me to go, and we did go. So, and sniper started shooting us. And I remember he dropped, like, so we were running, and we're on the position that we are running on the street, and it's on the hill, and there is enemy on other hill, so he can see us clearly, and there is no much place that we can hide, so we just sprint there. So we are sprinting, and I just see he's dropping down and rolling on the ground. I'm like, gosh, he's probably dead, and I need to pull him out there. Crazy. So I'm running to him, he's he's standing up and start running again. I feel like, he's alive, so good. And later, I was behind him when we came there to the shelter. I saw his vest.
Yeah.
I watched his vest, and on the back side, on the back plate, so there was clear line of the bullets on the vest. So we were running, and we were running, and sniper was shooting from that side. So, and when he ran, and the sniper shoot him like not right on the back. If he did shoot him right in the back, so he would die, but he was shooting him on the right side, and bullet slipped off his plate. And if he would run like, I don't know, half of his feet slower, it would get his heart. It was on the heart level. It's just like half of the feet. Just, you know. And I remember when later we were talking, we were on the way back. We need to go back. So on the way back, the sniper continues to shoot us, and we're just running. Like, what else we can do? So we were running, and I remember we were hiding, and he like, hey man, I know that I survived. Just you've been with me. You know, I all way I am running and praying. You know. So when in those situations, all you can do is run and pray. So I run and pray, and he said those words, and I like, probably true. You know, he was so close, and we did get back to our boys, and that same day I remember, so we had these holes, places where we are hiding, and they're close to each other. So two of us there and two of us in other one. And sometimes we like go to each other. And I remember, so the Russians, they're watching us, they see us clearly, and they saw that. So they knew that we would run, and they knew that like sooner or later we will run that small sprint, and they were ready. They were waiting for us. They saw we came to the first hole, so they're expecting us go to another one to stay in our position. So they were waiting, and I remember I just start running to my place, and I just hear bomb hitting. Bomb came out, and I just see it's heated on front of me, just 2 meters ahead, and bomb hit it there, and I continued to run. I don't know how it didn't hit me, but it's hit there on the right of me, and I just hear bullets shooting behind of me of different weapon, and I just had a moment, jump in my hole, and just hear bullets behind me. So there was second one. There's a few situations like that, and we stayed weather was killing us as well with this mud. You know, it was one day it was warm, like +2, +3 Celsius, and everything is melted, like mud in a hole like that. It's all, we're in the mud, and waters came down, and it's like mud like that. You just sit in the mud. And later it's freezing, so all of that is freezed, and you're sitting wet in the freeze all night. And so but it was fine, like it was cold first few days. Later you just get used to it, and it becomes, normal. You're not so cold anymore. And we had funny positions, so we, like, most of our problems and fights would be at night. So our position was, to Russians, it was like half of a mile, but they dig a tunnel closer to us. So they've been like, I don't know, I can throw a stone to them. So they were at night they would came there, and I don't know, it's like 40 meters, 40, 50 meters, so very close. And at night, so all night, so what we did all night and pretty much all day, what we did it, we were watching. So if someone was coming, so we need to destroy them. So we need to be ready. So there's tank or car or anything or just soldiers. So all time we were watching, and it was our job. So all day they're shooting us, they're hitting us with bombs, with bullets, with anything, just all day. And this was very, like, for me, eye-opening. There's really pure evil that they didn't care about how much they shoot. They couldn't hit us. So we are hide really well, and they just they hit and hit and hit, shoot, and all day long, like non-stop. Like they can see they don't hit us, but they continued all day long, and they did the same with people. So they sent soldiers. They sent soldiers without much reason, to check if they would come through or not. So, and they did the same with people, just throwing them. So there was like 10 times a day they would come, like at night, at day. So we killed them and they come again. So we take them down and they come again, like on different positions, different places, but like every day, like up to 10 times a day. So on our positions. And it was just eye-opening. It were eye-opening for me that we are really fighting with pure evil. There's like no normal human would do that to people. So there's no point. No of those groups would come through. None of those. So, like, yes, they did kill us with bombs. Like sometimes they would like hit in right place and right time, and they would kill someone. A few of my friends died there in those 10 days, and many of us get hurt, but like none of those soldiers would came through. But they were continuing to throw them there, and they never took them out. If someone get hurt or died, like they never took out bodies. They just send next group over those bodies, over those dead people. And it's helped me to really see that they're just pure evil. There's nothing good in it, like nothing. Like they don't care about anything. They didn't care about us, for sure, but they didn't care about their soldiers, their sons, their people, their brothers. I know. They say they're going to save us, Ukrainians, like in their news. We're saving Ukrainians. We are helping our brothers. That's what they say, their position. But they don't care about their people. They don't care at all. Like, and it's just, and we are fighting with this evil. It's why I did go to the war, and I'm ready to go back. And do what I can, just because it's right. It's not should be anyone like that in the world these days. It's 21st century, and this is happening, like, and it's just crazy.
Can you go through? So when you got hit by the bomb, how long did it take to get you out and then get it back to Kiev? Because you were in hospital in Kiev. And then can you also talk about some of the injuries that you got?
Yeah, so it was a miracle. You know what? I lost my right eye pretty much, and it was one thing I didn't want to lose. God is a joker, So I was ready to lose my arms, my legs, like I was ready for that. Like I like, all right, I'm okay with that. I was prepared for that. But I had one eye that saw clearly. So I had my right eye that helped me to read, to drive, to do everything. And I was afraid just about that eye because my left eye has problems. I can't read, I can't drive, it's not fixable. So, and I had just this one thing I was afraid about. And right, sure, the bomb came. I was underground 2 meters, 2 meters underground. 10 days, we didn't get hit at once. So our positions was really well made and none of us get hit. We've been bombed all day long, all those days. And I don't know, we still don't know how, but bomb came to me 2 meters underground. I was resting, it was noon. I was resting underground. I took off my shoes because it was wet. It was sunny. First day was sunny. I put my boots on a hill that would, dry out a little bit and lay down. And it was a few miracles there. So before I lay down, there was my friend there, and I like, hey, normally I would not do that, but that day I did this for some reason. So I like, hey, stand up. Like you slept all night. It's my time. So I took him out, lay down there. It was like a resting room underground. And suddenly, somehow, I hear this explosion. So I was on the ground 2 meters, and next position was like, I'm here. There was position where we were standing, and it was protected as well, like 1.5 meter protected area where my friend stayed and watched enemy and shoot back. So somehow bomb came to me, but it did hit somewhere on the top, and pieces of it, splinters, would came to me.
Yeah.
And I heard that explosion. My friend from the second floor, he rolled down to me because of explosion, and he dropped and rolled down to me. I heard his noise. He was screaming, and and he's like, I got hit. And I remember I was standing on my knees already, this like noise in ears, and I felt like something wrong with my face, with my legs, with my arm, and I was calm. I remember I was pretty calm, and I like, hey, tell on walkie-talkie that I get hit too, and I'm in a bad shape. I felt like in the face, and I understood that it's bad. So I'm in a bad shape. Like I need to get out from here. I need a doctor. So that guy who rolled down to me, really strong dude. He was not shocked. He did get hit in the leg a little bit. He had like a little bit concussion, but he was like clear and he understood what he needed to do to help me. And he was standing there with me, and I was telling what to do. I told him that my both legs get hit, my arm get hit, my belly and my face. So, and he need to fix all of that. And he got hit too. I can't see anything. I have like first thing I remember, I opened my eyes, but I remember I saw that I slept, and it was too. I had really good one, sleeping bag, really good one.
Yeah.
And I opened my eye, and it's like all in blood, like someone poured a bucket there, and like, gosh, how did it happen in a second? Like it was all in blood, and uh, it's like, gosh, it's like too bad. I lost my sleeping bag, I guess. It was my thought. And this guy, his name is Alex. So he pretty much saved me. I'm really grateful that he didn't think about that his leg get hit. He took himself in hands and he was helping me. So he fixed my legs and arm and were helping me and fixed my face as well. And he stopped bleeding. So first thing you need to do is stop bleeding. So 80% of death is from bleeding. So it's what we've been taught. So first thing you do, you stop bleeding with tourniquets. So it's first thing you do. It's very painful thing.
Yeah.
But it's what we all need to know. And it's what we did. So he put tourniquets on both legs, on arm, fixed my face. And I remember I was laying there all in blood. They cut all my clothing, so I was pretty much naked. And to check how bad is damage of the body. And I remember laying down there, and I was happy. It's like I was not happy that I get hit, but I was happy that I knew that I gonna survive, even like I didn't know how bad I get hurt. Oh yeah, I thought that my arm came out, so I thought my right arm, I didn't felt it. So like with my left arm, I found my right arm, but I didn't felt it. So I thought that it's cut it off, like bomb cut it off, because I didn't feel it. I couldn't move it. So my thought was that it's not there. So I asked boys to take my arm and put in a bag with cold water that they can sew it back to me. And it's what I told them. And they're like, your arm is on a place. Everything is fine. Stop talking. So, and it was my thought. So, and I was thinking that I get hit, and I thought I gonna be all right. I was sure. I was scared probably, yeah, but I was sure that I will survive, and I was happy that I gonna see my family. I knew that I gonna go to hospital, and I gonna see my family. So I was happy about that. And another miracle that happened is that boys, it was day, it was 12 at noon. And normally when fight is going on, so we get hit all this time. They don't stop because someone get hit.
Yeah.
So bombs still comes, still shooting. And boys, that unit that help those who get hit, who get hurt. So they came, and I like, wow. I was really surprised that they came at daytime, not at night. So I was expecting to lay there for 4 hours, 6 hours when dark came. But they came, and I like, wow, these guys are crazy. Because that road they came, it's all like you can shoot it through, all like Russians shoot it through. And to came there at daytime during the fights, I like, whoa. And it was a miracle that they came and they took me out of that hole 2 meters underground. They put me on this thing, and they took me out. They started running, 4 of them. And I hear them. I can't see it. That time I didn't see anything, but I hear them. And I heard that one just screamed and dropped down. They came to him. He didn't react. He didn't have any blood. but he didn't react. He didn't breathe, and he didn't react at all. I heard that, slapped him in the face, tried to understand what's going on with him. He didn't react. Later, we found out this really young guy, like 22 years old. He just came. It was first day, and later my friends told me that his heart stopped. So I guess adrenaline was so high, and so they were pulling me, and just, I don't know, his heart didn't handle it. He was so scared, I guess. So later, my friend did go back to him to pull him out because we didn't know what happened with him. So he did go back to him, and sniper was watching and hit him in the leg. He didn't kill him, but he got hit in the leg. So we got to the hospital together. So 3 other boys did go through and did get me to evacuation place. And those evacuation vehicles, so it's protected vehicles.
Yeah.
They're protected. And those heavy, like Hummers, but bigger, Hummers, right?
Yeah.
Hummer, the military vehicle. So it's bigger, it's special for transportation. So normally they would not drive at daytime because it's big and they always hit them. So Russians, they can reach them. So they normally don't ever drive at daytime. And those guys pull me out, and somehow the vehicle comes right away, and they take me out from there. I was really surprised that they came. It was another miracle as well, and they did get me to the hospital, which is really far. But I don't remember how we got there, but we got there. They saw my face. And later they moved me to Dnipro and after to Kiev. So I got hit in the legs, learned to walk again later. My arm was on the place. It just hit me and kind of paralyzed for a month. So my arm didn't work for about a month.
Yeah.
So right now it's fully recovered. And it broke my bone here and damaged my eye. So I lost my eyesight on the right eye. And unfortunately, like, I visited all best doctors. And unfortunately, right now there's no technology that they can fix it. But I can see a little bit with my left eye. So first time I had a little bit depression because of that. I didn't want to believe it. Was angry. Had depression, but I accepted, I guess it's what Lord wants me to go through, and probably he has plan on that, and everything with reason, I believe. And maybe he doesn't want me to go back to the front lines. I still plan to go and continue service. I don't know what I will be able to do because I don't see what I eat. I can't read, can't drive, but probably they will find some work for me until we will win.
Yesterday we had a little bit of a chat before we did this conversation, and you mentioned how a friend of yours asked you, would you forgive the person who fired that bomb at you?
Yeah. Do you want to ask the same question?
Yeah. Would you forgive them? If you met them
Yeah,
face to
yeah.
face today, what would you say to them?
I don't think I would say anything, if we win war, and I don't know, I would see the Russian. I don't really care like who hit me. doesn't really matter. It's not personal. Um, like I said, this war is good and evil, and we decide on which side we are. I feel bad for those guys who are on that side. They've been lied to. They don't understand why they're, or I don't know why they're there. I think they just blind. They don't understand. You know, story when Christ was on the cross, he served people, he healed them, he taught them, he was so good to them, but they slapped him, split on him, hit him, and crucified him. And that he served those people, and they did this to him, and still he said to the Father, forgive them because they don't know what they do. I don't remember exact translation, but I think you understand what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. That, and he was able to do that because he knew bigger plan. He knew that they really are blind and they really just don't understand what they do.
Mm.
They decided to do this, but they have choice, and Russians have choice. They were able don't go to war. They were able to escape it, but they did go and they did participate in that. But I believe they just wrong. I don't think they're evil, really. I just I think they just wrong. They don't understand what they do, and I hope and I have faith that one day they will understand and they will be able to change. And I don't think I would say anything. If we've been in the war, I would probably kill him because it's war, If I will return and we will continue fight, it's a tool. We will fight and we will kill, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's very dirty, it's very ugly, very disgusting thing, but it's a tool to protect good, to protect righteousness, to protect freedom of choice, because there is no freedom of choice in Russia. There is no possibility to do missionary work or do anything not like government want to do. And it's God's plan. Oh, it's Satan's plan. It's not God's plan. God wants us to be able to choose what is right and do it. And Satan wants us just do what he wants. And it's what Russia does right now.
Yeah.
And we just need to stop it with any cause and any price. We need to stop it. And it's why I was ready to go and was ready to kill and was ready to fight. But if I would see a Russian person here in Kiev or somewhere in Europe, in New Zealand or Britain, somewhere when I hope I will be one day traveling, and I would see some Russian person, I don't think I will do anything to them, to him, to her. And I don't. I try to don't judge people. God judge people on the end of the life, and who I am to judge them right now. It's God. It's God's work. I would let Him judge those people.
Yeah. So even though you were in hospital and you're recovering, you were still being proactive in raising money. So the last thing you raised the money for was for a drone, and you were able to pay for the drone. And so even now, in I think 12 more days is I guess the 1 year anniversary of when Russia first decided to try a full invasion. So even though it's been a year, how important is it to still donate money, to still
Yeah, yeah.
try and buy stuff
Yeah,
like drones or other stuff for military or for like refugees?
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, there is still need in it. Even many countries, governments do a lot of help to Ukraine, like America and Europe and Britain and other countries. So it's helping Ukraine to stand, but unfortunately, it's not enough. It's it's enough that we would not lose the war right now. It's enough for us to not die from hunger or from um, without electricity, freeze to death, or allows our military to stand and not to lose. But unfortunately it's not enough to win, and it's why we have a lot of fundraising among people just like me. Like I did raise fund for my friend, for brother of my sister, for my wife, Anton. We raised money for his drone, for his unit. Unfortunately, there's no funds, no enough budget in government to give those resources to everyone, and there's not enough things. We are military is not hungry. Military gets paid. Military has weapons and bullets, uh, but we can't win war with that, unfortunately. And we need more from governments. And if we're talking about just people like you and I, we can't buy tank, right? We
Yeah.
can't buy leopard, or how you call it, right? Big weapons. But we can support, and we really need that support still, unfortunately. Even this war is a year going on. We still need more drones. We still need more vehicles. We need money to be able to fix those vehicles, because government doesn't provide everything. They provide big things.
Yeah.
They provide what they can, but a lot of small things like, to win this war we need support military. Refugees are fine right now. Like we stopped help and focus on refugees just because it's important, but we would not win the war helping refugees. We will win war if we would help and we would continue to support military. And even $5, 5 and 5, and 10, when we raise funds and we able to buy the drone, and drone is eyes for military, and eyes in the sky, it saves lives. And those $5 or 10 or 100 or 1,000, those even small donations, they bringing our win, our victory closer. It saves lives. Those $5, they do save lives. I saw it. I had good helmet, I had good vest, I had good clothes, and it's helped me a lot to survive. And those money I had from my friends to be able to buy those good things, to have protection, to have security a little bit more. And yeah, so unfortunately we there's still need. um, yeah, I would recommend to find specific people, that or that sometimes I announce my friends who are gathering funds. So there's a lot of people like me who are helping military, and yeah, I would recommend to find someone specific, not like big funds, big projects, but like small, just people who are helping their family, or, like my husband is serving or my brother is serving, he need a vehicle or he need drone or he need vest. So I would support more of those because you know that the money goes specifically to people and for specific thing. So, and you can see that you helped to buy the drone or that vest, and it's direct help, and it would not get lost in
Yeah.
bureaucracy in big projects. So, and it's immediate, and it's often it's very needful if people gathering funds. It's all often urgent and needful things. So I would recommend to work with those and donate to those guys. But yeah, anyone, anyhow, it's good. It's good help to join this fight with evil. It's how I see it.
Well, I'm super glad that you took some time. I know we agreed on like 20 minutes, but it's been like over an hour.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm super glad that you were able to kind of share your story. Um like like I said earlier, I've only really met you the once when you picked me up. Um Obviously I met your wife and child while they were refugees in Moldova, and being able to follow kind of your journey from when you announced you were going to be on the front line until obviously you hear the devastating news that you got hit and you were in hospital. I just thought it's a story I think worth sharing. And I don't know, I just feel like for me personally, I think Ukraine winning this war, um, it's going to save the rest of Europe, potentially the rest of the world from, like you said, evil forces coming from Russia. I was fortunate to travel all last year, and I went to places like Ukraine and Georgia and Moldova, where Russia has had such a negative influence on them. Uh, 2008, Georgia was invaded by Russia. In Moldova, you got Transnistria, which has been heavily influenced and by Russia, and obviously now Ukraine. So I think it's just everybody's interest to support Ukraine, and it's something that I'm following heavily. And I don't know, I just feel like if more people realize what's going on and realize ways that they could help, like you said, it's a good versus evil. And as soon as the Kremlin is destroyed, I think Russian people in general aren't going to be forced to do things they don't want to do. Um, and so I don't know. I think it's really good to hear your story and hear your opinions on why you fought and why it's important to fight. So I'm really grateful for it.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh, for this opportunity to share. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad to share and hope it would help someone to understand that we need to fight, and we need to choose on which side we are, because it's last days, and we need to choose where we want to be, on which side, on which team. And it's not just war somewhere, it's gonna be around the world, tomorrow it's gonna be anywhere. And like those earthquakes, and I know if we are with God and we are um, follow the promptings he gives us, he will protect us, and we will be in the right place. So it's probably the most important that we need to remember, that I learned. So thank you for this opportunity to share.
No, thank you. Дякую for your time and
Дякую.
for your story. But no, Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.
No, thanks for this